Hi, my name is Jesus Gonzalez, and this is my presentation on omega-3 fatty acids, and this presentation is meant for high school seniors. Today's learning objectives are going to be learning the sources of omega-3, the health benefits and functions of omega-3, and display the recommended amounts needed. Alright, so for the sources of omega-3, here we have two photos. So which of these photos displays the sources of omega-3? The one on the left or the one on the right? And it's the one on the left. The one on the left has sources of omega-3. The one on the right has sources of omega-6. And for this presentation, we're only going to be focused on omega-3 sources. And here are the sources. So, one of them is fish, and you can find them in different fatty fishes, which is like salmon, tuna, sardines. You can find them in flaxseed oil, chia seeds, walnuts, canola oil, soybean oil, and foods that are fortified with omega-3. And when you go to the grocery store, you'll be able to tell which ones they are because they'll have a big stamp on them that says fortified with omega-3. And you'll find them in the egg cartons or in the milk. And these are other sources of omega-3, the supplementation. These are the algae pills, and this is the fish oil pills. You can find these at like CVS or Walgreens. You can pick them off the counter, but something you should do is talk with your physician or registered dietitian to see if you're deficient in omega-3 depending on what your diet is. And if you are, and you want to change that, this is one way to do it. It's better to do it with the food. And even though something like salmon is expensive, you can do something as easy as add chia seed to your water. You don't need to add a lot, and it makes it taste better. Or to your lemonade, and it'll make, the chia seeds taste better if you don't want to add it into just water. But if you are going to go with supplementation, I recommend algae, because algae is a real source of omega-3. Algae contains omega-3 naturally, and fish eat algae, which is why the fish have omega-3. Then when we eat the fish, we get the omega-3 from the fish that ate the algae. And this is a basic structure of omega-3. And omega-3 will contain carbon atoms, hydrogen atoms, oxygen atoms, and double bonds, arranged in a certain way. And there's 3 different ways that it's assorted, but this is just a general form. The actual 3 forms are as follows. The first one on top is ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, and it has 3 double bonds. And it's where ALA is the one that's found in plants. And later you'll see it's the only one that has the recommended daily values for it. And I'll show you later that. The other 2 forms are EPA or DHA. EPA has 5 double bonds, while DHA only has 6, and that's the omega-3 fatty acids that you'll find in like fish. ALA can sometimes turn into EPA or DHA in certain occasions, but not always. So it's best just to eat a mixture of all 3. And why is it essential? It's essential because we can't form this within our own body. Our own body can produce fats and in a variety of ways, but not omega-3 because we don't have the enzymes for that. So we need to consume it in our diet. That is the only way we can get it, so we need to eat it from outside sources, from the sources I talked about earlier, the flax seeds, the walnuts, or the fish. And it's essential because it has a lot of good health benefits that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And it has a couple functions with it too that helps the body a lot. Alright, so some of the health benefits and functions that I was talking about is one of the main things that it does is it improves cardiovascular health. When you have it, you basically don't want to have any blockage in your arteries or anything. And what omega-3 fatty acids do, they can reinforce the lining within the blood vessels to make it stronger so that plaque doesn't start to build up. And with that, it allows for circulation within the body. So if you have any issues with the cardiovascular health, it prevents inflammation and lowers blood pressure so that there's less pressure in your heart, so you don't have any issues with that later on in your life. And it's been known to prevent certain cancers, so it'll prevent certain cancerous cells from growing. So if you have more omega-3 fatty acids within you, then that's a good thing, because then you won't have cancer cells growing later on in your life. And it has been shown to help with brain function. Some of the research on that is not totally conclusive just yet, but it has been shown to help with dementia and Alzheimer's in some patients and not all. There still needs to be more research in it, but it's a encouraging sign that still omega-3 fatty acids have some benefits towards that. Alright, so the record amounts for omega-3, only ALA has a set amount for omega-3. There's no set amount for EHA or DPA for the moment. And as to why, there's no real reason for that. It's just that's the only research that's been done in ALA so far. But as you can see in this chart right here, the amount that you need throughout your life and what stage you're in, it's different and it varies. So from birth to month, you only need 5 grams of it, which is not a lot. But when you get older, you need 1.1 grams for males and 1.6 for females. So it's just, it varies for like, and it's different too for pregnant women or breastfeeding women. They need slightly a little bit more than males. And on this list right here, this is the list of how many grams per serving each different types of food sources that we talked about earlier in the presentation have. So at the top, you can see flaxseed oil, just 1 tablespoon, has 7.26 grams of ALA. So this first column right here is ALA of the omega acids. The second column is DHA, and this last column is EPA. And some of those foods you'll notice they'll have 2 different sources, which is good. That's what you want. You want multiple sources. So you say you want to eat a meal that has salmon in it and then a couple of walnuts, you'll be getting all ALA, DHA, and EPA. And as you can notice at the bottom right here, you'll see foods that are the ones that are fortified. So at the bottom you'll see ground beef, whole wheat bread, eggs, chicken, and milk, low fat, 1%. But as you can see, these numbers are very low. Just for a cooked egg, it has only 0.03 grams of DHA, which is very little. You need way more than that. Just because it says it's fortified doesn't mean it has a lot. You're gonna have to eat a lot of eggs to get a good amount of omega-3 fatty acids, but eggs have high cholesterol and you don't want that. You don't want to eat a bunch of them. But look at the top over here with flaxseed, it has 7.26 grams, like I said earlier. Salmon, you can see it has both DHA and EPA, but there's a difference because some salmon is farmed or wild. The farmed has 1.2 DHA, while the salmon only has 1.22 grams. And that's a small difference, so you'll be fine either or, but there's a bigger difference when it comes to EPA. The farmed has more at 0.59 grams, while the wild only has 0.35 grams. So when you go shopping, you might want maybe the farmed, might be slightly better, but you'll be fine either or. And as you can see, something like chia seeds, which you can add to water, just 1 ounce of it has 5.06 grams of omega-3, and that's a lot. So say you add it to your water or lemonade, whatever drink you want to add it to, non-alcohol, it's not, that's not recommended. But if you do add it, then you'll be getting a good amount of omega-3. And as we go back, these numbers right here, they're not that great. They're not the highest numbers. So for men, you only need 1.6 grams, and for women, you only need 1.1. That number increases if you're a woman and you become pregnant, you're gonna need more. But it's still not a lot. It's only at 1.4 or 1.3 when you're breastfeeding. So you don't need that much. And with chia seeds, you can accomplish that very easily. Or walnuts, flax seeds, you can add it to your meal. Or grounded up flax seeds, they're very easy to consume in a diet. So to recap, some of the sources of omega-3 are fish, walnuts, chia seeds, flaxseed oil, canola oil, and you'll see them, the fortified foods, you'll see the label, and most of them it says with omega-3 in it. They really want to promote that with some of them. And of course, some of the other sources of the supplements. But again, remember, talk to your physician or registered dietitian to see if you need to add those supplements or not. And then going to the health benefits and functions, it helps a lot with cardiovascular health, with preventing plaque from forming. It'll make sure that the arteries are clear and you won't have any cardiac arrest later on in life. And it can prevent some cancer, especially in breast cancer. When breast cancer patients have a higher increase of omega-3 in their diet, then it helps prevent from cancer cells from returning. Because that's always a fear with breast cancer and other cancers, of course, but with breast cancer, you don't want those cancer cells to come back. And if you can add omega-3 into that, it'll help prevent that. And again, with the brain function, it's still debatable, but there are promising signs that it does help with Alzheimer's and dementia. And again, the recommended amount, you saw the list, it was very low for the amount that we need, and it varies from different stages of your life. So, and of course it varies if you're a woman who's pregnant or breastfeeding. You have to make sure you're keeping track of what you eat and how much you eat, how much you incorporate. As the numbers, again, if we go back, there are these, and again, it's only for ALA, but it's make sure you're still eating DHA and EPA, because there is no numbers for those, but try to eat as much as you can from those. All right. And these are my references for the presentation, and thank you for tuning in.